In this demo, we are going to be discussing the new calculated metrics feature in Google Analytics. Before we discuss calculated metrics, we want to make sure to distinguish calculated metrics from custom metrics, which are configured under the property admin and which are populated into Google Analytics as part of your implementation. Custom metrics are not based on existing metrics. Custom metrics are populated as part of your implementation. An example of a custom metric would be a level in a game application, a game website that your user has reached, level 2, level 3, so forth in a game. Another example of a custom metric may be the number of minutes that have been viewed in a video. So those are custom metrics that you populate from scratch, and they are not based on existing metrics. Calculated metrics, on the other hand, are based on existing built-in Google Analytics metrics that you reconfigure through a mathematical operation. You can base your calculated metrics on built-in metrics, on custom metrics that you have defined yourself, and on numeric constants as well to multiply a metric by a certain percentage, as an example. Before we set up a calculated metric, let's go ahead and look at a built-in metric in one of the built-in Google Analytics reports, and we'll see how we want to adapt that metric as a calculated metric. So we'll go ahead and click Reporting, and under Conversions, Goals, we will click on the Goal Overview report, and we have the Contact Us goal selected, and we see that the conversion rate for the Contact Us goal is 2.53%. We need to remember when we are looking at goal conversion rate that it is calculated based on the number of sessions in which the goal was completed, divided not by users but by sessions. Conversion rate in Google Analytics is defined based on goal completions divided by sessions. That means that the denominator is a bigger number. Sessions are always greater than users, and that means that conversion rate can look lower than it is relative to the actual number of users, the actual number of unique visitors. So we may want to calculate conversion rate based not on sessions but based on users, at least the users that Google Analytics can identify as returning users, meaning the same browser, same device, no cookie deletion, no incognito mode in the browser, or if you have implemented cross-device tracking, users who are logged in can be recognized across different devices. So now that we've seen why we want to create a calculated metric based on users instead of based on sessions, let's go back to the admin panel. Click Calculated Metrics in the View column. New calculated metric. Let's call this calculated metric user-based conversion rate. The name that we provide is how the metric will appear within the Google Analytics user interface. Calc metric underscore user-based conversion rate is how you would query the metric through the API. For formatting type, let's go ahead and select %. We're talking about a conversion rate, so % would be the most appropriate formatting type, the most appropriate data type. For our formula, in a very straightforward way, we will go ahead and calculate goal 10 completions. We can use the read ahead. Divided by users. Use read ahead again. Create. Now that we've defined our calculated metric, we can use it within a custom report. So let's head over to Customization, New Custom Report. Let's call this custom report User-Based Contact Us by Device Category, Report tab. Let's just say Main, Metric Groups, Conversions, Add Metric. Let's start off with Users just for context. And now we will add our calculated metric. It will appear under Other, User-Based Conversion Rate. And now let's select our dimension, Device Category, Save. And now we see our user-based conversion rate by device category. Let's set up another calculated metric. In this calculated metric, we will determine conversion rate for our Contact Us goal based on sessions that were not bounces. We know there are always a certain number of bounces that occur in sessions. By basing our conversion rate on sessions that did not include bounces, we are segmenting out visitors who were not engaged at all to begin with. So we're calculating a metric based on users who were engaged enough to send a second hit into Google Analytics by viewing another page or generating an event hit by watching a video or potentially scrolling or potentially downloading a PDF or any of the interactions for which you may have set up event tracking. Click New Calculated Metric, Non-Bounce, Contact, Conversion Rate, Formatting Type, %, Goal 10 completions, divided by sessions minus bounces, and we will want to be sure to wrap sessions minus bounces with parentheses for grouping. Create, and we see here that we actually could have named our first calculated metric user-based contact conversion rate because we were defining the calculated metric for a specific goal conversion and not for all conversions. But in any case, now we can go ahead and create a custom report based on the new non-bounce contact conversion rate calculated metric. Click Customization, New Custom Report, Non-Bounce Contact Conversion Rate by Source Medium. Report tab, Main, Metric Groups, Conversions, Add Metric. Under Other, we will see our new calculated metric. Let's actually go ahead and add sessions as well, just as a point of reference. And let's drag sessions first. Dimension, source medium. Save. And now we can see our conversion rate with all of the bounce sessions weeded out. So in this case, we also end up with a higher conversion percentage because we are weeding out all of those sessions in which the visitors were not engaged at all and they bounced. A few other points about calculated metrics that we should consider. You do need edit access to create a calculated metric, and you may want to initially create a calculated metric in a test view. However, since the calculated metrics don't really alter the underlying view data and are calculated on the fly and dynamically, It's okay to create a calculated metric in a main view without necessarily testing it out in a test view the same way that you would a view setting or a view filter, as two examples that you definitely would not want to apply directly to a main working view before validating in a test view. However, with calculated metrics, it's pretty safe to apply the calculated metric to a working view straight away. You may still want to try it out in a test view, but not necessarily obligatory. As another point, calculated metrics are retroactive. Again, since they don't alter the underlying view data, they are calculated dynamically, retroactively from existing metrics that have already been captured. As another consideration, the maximum number of calculated metrics that you can set up within one view is 5. If you do happen to need additional slots for your calculated metrics, you can create them in a second view. However, you're probably not going to need to set up many calculated metrics. You may, however, want to set up a few calculated metrics, especially based on goal conversions, e-commerce transactions. An example that Google Analytics help documents provide is e-commerce revenue by user. So there are a few helpful calculated metrics that we can configure, and if you do run out of slots, you can always create another view and create as many calculated metrics as you need. So that concludes our brief overview of calculated metrics. Hope that you found it useful and hope that you will try to set up some calculated metrics on your own.